The proper way to take revenge, right? How do we avenge God? How do we avenge Jewish blood that is spilled because we're Jews? I think the Torah has a very important message by teaching it to us by where and how things are recorded. Right? What do I mean? So, at the end of last parsha, right, we will learn later on that Bilam has this idea, but the idea is executed at the end of Parshas Balak, right, to send the women of Moab or Midian to ensnare the Jews, to bring them to idolatry, to bring them to fornication, and Pinchas has to get up and stop it. Right, immediately afterwards, Pinchas is rewarded. We've spoken about Briti Shalom, the peace, the covenant of peace in previous years. And then we find, right, by Daber Hashem el Moshe Lemor, this is in the end of chapter 25 of Perek Chav Hey, Tzror et hamidyanim v'hikitem otam, right? You should go and punish and hit the Midyanim, ki tzorim heim lachem, because they are doing this to you, asher nechlu lahem dadvar peor, because they right, instigated the sin at Baal Peor, Dval al Devar Kozbin Bat Nasi Midyan Itchem. Right, when the Cosby, who was the daughter of the prince of Midyan, came, snared the Jews, etc. Right, we are commanded to go to war to take care of our enemies, those trying to bring us down. You would expect, right? That is those Sukkim 16, 17, and 18. That's Tet Zayin through Yud Ches. Right, you would expect the very next pasuk to be that Hashem tells the people, and Moshe tells the people, let's go, take up arms, and off we go. Right, let's go to war. God challenged us and commanded us to avenge His name, right, the desecration of His name. Go and get the Midyanim. Again, this was Perek Chav Hey, chapter 35, right, and then we'll read, I'll tell you where it is in a moment. Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe lemor. Hashem says to Moshe, Nikom nikmat b'nei Yisrael, avenge. Right, the vengeance of the Jews, me'et hamidyanim achar ta'asef al amecha. Afterwards, right, you're going to pass away. Vayidaber Moshe el ha'am, and Moshe says to the people, Echaltzu b'itchem al hashim latzava. Let's get people for the army. Right, and they go out and they have the war with Midian. The only problem is, I just read to you from Perek Lamed Aleph, chapter 31. Right, the beginning of the command, Perek Chav Hey, chapter 25. Execution of the command, Perek Lamed Aleph, chapter 31. That's a lot of space between the command and the execution. Why in the world should that be? And why don't we just go directly from command to execution right after they ensnare us? We go after them when we take care of business, right? Chick-chock, wipe them out. So I think the answer is as follows. And generally, when you have a story in the Chumash and there is an interruption, and there are a few examples, what is put in the middle, right, that which interrupts the story, seems to be critical to the story, meaning it's as if we can't go on with the story without it. So we take a little pause, right, we go on a little tangent, and then we come back to the story, but the tangent is critical and necessary for the story. Right, what do we find in between the command and the execution of this command? So many things, but I'll focus only on two. We find the story of the daughters of Tzlofchad, and we find the appointment of the leader Yehoshua. Right? We also have the beginning of Parshas Matos, another address to leadership. Right? And I think the Torah is teaching us we can see at least three things. Right? Number one, as opposed to Pinchas, which is an instinctive reaction, going to war should never be an instinctive reaction. It needs to be planning. It needs to be thought out. That's number one. Number two, needs to be for the right reasons. I remember Benot Tzlofchad, the daughters of Tzlofchad, who loved the land of Israel so much, they wanted their portion in it. They were willing to challenge Moshe Rabbeinu for it. Right? Know what you're fighting for. right? How you're going to fight, plan, strategize, census of the soldiers is in there, and know why you are fighting. What are you fighting for? Why is it important? And lastly, before we go to war, we need leadership. Right? We need leadership who has the ability to lead and care for the people. And only after you have competent, qualified leadership, an idea of why you're fighting this fight, an idea of the best way to fight the fight, only then in chapter 31 do we go ahead and actually have that fight. With that, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.